Hi, folks. Before we get started, we'd like to take a moment to let you know some of the content on this podcast may not be suitable for some audiences. It's all in good fun, but we just wanted to let you know.
Previously on the Jay and Dan podcast.
I'm happy to say the Yum Yum guys have decided to allow the Weyburn KFC to stay a KFC buffet.
In a very special way to make the coleslaw, too. It was just weird.
It's finger-licking good.
Darren Dreger, our
Yes!
TSN Hockey Insider, your take on Russia and what you liked, what you didn't like.
What I got from Moscow as opposed to St. Petersburg was a real Russian feel.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
These women on horseback would appear.
Come here, cutie.
You could supply some rubles to help feed the animals. Or you could supply several thousand rubles and participate in some extracurricular activities.
Come here, daddy.
Wait,
To get a horse involved, I mean,
Yeah,
and is the horse involved?
I know. Oh, come on.
Did you masturbate in the airplane?
yeah, it lasted the entire flight.
These are my daddy's burgers. Who wants one of my daddy's burgers? I'm Wendy.
It certainly is a big bun. It's a very big bun.
We filled our mouth holes with that.
Yeah, I stuffed it in your mouth, and you stuffed it in mine.
Where's the beef?
You're listening to the Jay and Dan podcast.
DJ Laundromat, DJ Towel Boy, DJ Scoop and Spice.
Yeah.
It's the Jay and Dan podcast, episode 113. Glad you're with us. It's gonna be a wild ride. I'm going on no sleep, so I'm punchy.
So you had the Jimmy legs last night.
Yeah.
Too many scoops and snaps, keeping you up all night long.
What? This thing just opened up down here. Hope no one's living in there.
That's George Costanza takes his naps underneath.
There's an active ingredient in those sleep medications that sometimes give you the Jimmy legs. I had them last night, and I was just started punching my legs. I'm like, stop it! Stop it!
Well, I see things are going well down here in L.A. for you. Ben is on the drops today. Ben Teller, everybody.
Struggling to find every
Yes.
And then I woke up to road work. It's been going on for a week. They just dig a hole and then fill it in. And then they come back the next day, dig a hole, fill it in.
Yeah, well, they got to see what's under there. Anything there? Nope. Fill that shit back in then. We got another hole to dig tomorrow.
Oh, I did. They were closing off the street, so there was no parking in front of the building. And our good friend who cleans both our homes.
Yeah, Daisy.
Daisy.
Yeah.
She,
our good friend who cleans both our homes, our maid.
So Daisy came by. She sent me a text. She says, I'm here, but I don't think I can park here, and took a picture of a no parking sign that was constructed. So I immediately went down and took 3 of them down and said, you're good now.
What if Daisy's car had been towed?
I kept a close eye on it.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, Daisy's the best.
Yeah, and then I woke up today on the way to work, and I'm like, I might be hallucinating, but I believe that's Jesus and a goat in front of Starbucks, and it was.
Yeah, you got to check Dan's Instagram. Jesus and a goat. Again, that would be a great name for an indie rock
That was
band.
a great Instagram.
And I was feeling punchy. I was kind of mad, but Jesus and his goat brought a smile to my face because he came into the Starbucks, started just doing circles and saying, anybody got weed? And singing a weed song.
That's what he said. Anybody got weed?
Yeah. And then going up to people, I love you. I love you.
With an actual goat. Goat take
The
a
goat stayed outside.
He left his goat. Oh,
He
that's
was
very
constantly
courteous.
dropping little goat pellets. Poor security guard had to clean them up.
Yeah, see, that's not cool. If you're gonna take your goat for a walk, you got to clean that up.
Very well-behaved goat.
As opposed to a goat that would just kick you.
And it was an older goat because his horns were thick.
Is that how you know the goat's age?
It's like a tree, right?
It gets rings around the horns? I hope that there's a veterinarian listening to this right now, ready to call in and discredit you.
But as I waited for my Starbucks drink and I watched Jesus and his goat, I'm like, maybe this guy's got it all figured out.
Maybe that's what you need. Start dressing like Jesus, get yourself a goat, and you'll never have Jimmy legs again.
He had a coat of many colors, bare feet.
Just like Dolly Parton.
hates
hipsters.
That's the thing. There's so many homeless people kind of in the part of LA that we live in on the west side because it's warm and you could sleep outside all year. But man, you run into some, because sometimes you'll see homeless people and they'll just have a suitcase, but it looks pretty together, and you realize they just became homeless. And then you see Jesus with the goat, and you realize he's a veteran.
I don't think he was a hipster. He was like the leader.
The leader of the homeless people? As the leader, you get a goat. And so you command the goats and the other homeless people. Yeah. Congratulations, Jesus. Hey, on the Canadian Wall of Fame today, this is a suggestion from Chobi Liang. Director David Cronenberg, who's directed so many cool flicks. The Dead Zone.
Ghostbusters.
No, didn't do that one. That was Ivan Reitman.
Back to the Future.
We should have Ivan Reitman on here. He's Canadian.
I can't name a single Cronenberg film.
The Fly with Jeff Goldblum. You saw that.
Yep. He's now starring in apartments.com commercials.
Yeah, that is weird. And he's playing another character in the commercials. He's not playing Jeff Goldblum. That's weird, isn't it?
Hey, the checks are coming in, so he doesn't give
time. And then there's that movie, was it Crash? Not the Crash that won the Oscar. But the crash where, like, James Spader was having sex with, like, a cut in a woman's leg.
Yeah.
Like, there was sex in car crashes. That was the tagline of that flick. It was a weird one. Anyway, Cronenberg, he's a weird guy. What kind of sex do you think he's into?
Welcome to the Canadian Wall of Fame, Cronenberg. My erections have returned. You nailed it. It's going to be a great podcast. On this show, we were able to land the person who came in second in Dancing with the Stars and a UFC star, Paige VanZant.
Yeah, and I have to say, she is super nice and stunning in person. I sent my mom a picture of us with her, and she said, I was cheering for her. She lost. Way to go, Mom.
But now she's in negotiations. She's going to talk about that when her next UFC fight, because now she's got star power, so she wants some more dineros.
Yeah, because Ronda Rousey just had, I guess they said it was minor knee surgery, but
like
it seems
scope.
Yeah, like a knee scope, and then she's still finishing the Roadhouse movie, so it seems like they're pushing back her return to the UFC, and the more they push it back, the more you wonder if she'll just be like, you know what, it, I'll just be a movie star, and Paige will take over as the new face of the UFC.
And then Dana picks up the phone and says, George St. Pierre, we need you back.
I feel like it's got to happen.
Yeah.
Who are we talking to? Oh, TJ Dillashaw. Had just spent time with him in Montreal, right?
And he says he could fight right now.
Yeah, he said he thought it was going to possibly happen at 200. Obviously, it didn't. Or do they still have those two slots open for UFC 200? Like,
they have the Cormier, not Cormier.
Yeah, Cormier Jones. Fight. That's kind of the big headline fight. But I think there might be like, maybe they're just doing that to with us. 2 extra slots.
I do know UFC 199 will be there this weekend at the fabulous Forum.
That's going to be awesome.
I've never been to the Forum. I'm excited. I heard it was renovated.
Yeah. Jim, your thoughts?
Love the Forum.
Mm-hmm. Have you been there since the reno?
No, I haven't.
Because it's now, it's like permanent floor seating and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they supposedly made it very nice in there.
Was it a hole before?
It was kind of hammered before, but just the vibe in that place was incredible.
Think of all the Showtime Lakers titles there. The Kings played there, and then all the concerts there, like just an amazing number of concerts.
Yeah.
Did Guns play there?
Yeah, they played there like 4 nights with Skid Row, and it was just out of control. It was crazy there. Yeah.
A lot of crazy happened.
Yeah, a lot of crazy I went to some show there with a buddy of mine, and we were in the Forum Club is like the place to go and hang. It's like this club there. And we're in there, and he brought some girl he was dating, and all of a sudden she just flipped out, jumped up on top of the table, and took her top off, took her clothes off.
Beautiful. Just
Good
like
for her. It was beautiful. It was
like
a beautiful
Drew
thing.
Barrymore with David Letterman.
It was exactly like that.
Did she have a goat with her?
If you want to call my friend a goat, yeah. That's crazy.
Well played.
Well played.
We also are going to explain something that we play drops on these shows, and we have new listeners, hopefully, from podcast to podcast, and they might say, what is that drop? What does that mean? So we're going to dive into the phenomenon that is Big City Ken and explain that.
I love that idea. Do you want to do that right now?
Yeah, let's do that right now.
Let's do it.
So we refer to Spanky's, a bar that my friends own in my hometown of Peterborough, Ontario. And Spanky's, it's a great place to go have beverages. And a gentleman one night, he was asked to leave. And then he, the next day when they showed up and checked the answer machine, he had left about 20 messages, and he continued to get drunker and drunker as the messages went along.
Do we have said messages?
So let's hear how Big City Ken came about by way of voice messages.
Trust me, 11:42 at night. You guys, me. You wanted to burn me for $6.25 for a beer and a 75-cent tip. You're shut down in the morning. No doubt, Spanky's. You're gone. End of store, you. Don't worry, you want to steal my pack of smokes on the table as well? All good, man. Trust me, man. I shut you down in the morning. You're all out of a job. See ya. Thanks for coming out, you damn disrespectful in Peterborough. I ain't from this city, and I'll tell you, you're going to learn a lesson in life real quick now.
How would that... who would he call to shut it down? And
yeah, I was just thinking that. Like, was he a very important person who could have called, like, say, the mayor of Peterborough and had their business license taken away? Is that what he was referring to?
For charging $6.75 for a beer?
$6.25 with a 75-cent tip.
Sorry.
That was very upset. And stealing his smokes. Do we have any more, Ben?
Yeah, we have
I believe we have
some.
some.
This is so
Brilliant.
fun.
Oh, my God.
11:45, you the wrong cat tonight. Trust me, man. You are done, man. Health board, whoever, whatever, you're done overnight. Your employees, you suck at my name's Ken. They know who I am. You shoot me, you suckers, and re me. You're done. It came from the big city, Peterborough, you turkeys. You're done. Thank your employees, you sucking immigrants.
Whoa!
I heard the immigrants one. That immigrants one. Maybe we played that before. But
you fucking turkey.
Is that an insult in Canada to call somebody a turkey?
Yeah, I mean it's a very old school. But after all the sucking and to go to Turkey to go so clean at the end, very very unique.
I have one more.
There's okay.
Brilliant.
Trust me, I'm shutting your establishment down ASAP. I warned your employees they want to with me, man. Don't ever contain my power, dude. I came from the big city. I don't know who owns that and I don't really care. Your employees have disrespect for everybody in life. Them, shoo you all, man. Trust me, you're shut down overnight. I am Ken. Goodbye. Canada. I love it.
Canada. I love it.
We didn't have the Health Canada one because he said he was going to call Health Canada.
Yeah, that's right. That's what he was going to do. That's how.
Hello, Health Canada. This is Ken calling.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ken. He was slowing down toward the end.
Yeah, I believe he passed out after that last phone call.
There's a YouTube video that somebody animated 6 or 7 of the voicemails.
Really?
Oh, they're hysterical.
Oh,
it's great.
I can't believe that. That's amazing.
So whenever you hear Big City Ken, and I'm from the big city,
they know who I am.
Explained. By the way, speaking of Peterborough, we need to make a correction from last week's podcast.
Oh. Are you talking about the Tragically Hip thing?
Yeah, because I got a text from my brother.
And by the way, not just from your brother, but a ton of people sent us this correction.
Yeah, my brother said the hip played Nautical Disaster, not Courage on SNL. I was at the Pig's Ear that night as well. Matt was working the bar. I was actually the one who unplugged the jukebox. That's a fact. Despite what 1,000 people who claim they were in the 100-seat Piggy claim. So Vince set the record straight.
Just like the million people in Toronto who claim they were in the Reflex video, the Duran Duran Reflex video, which was shot at Maple Leaf Gardens. Yeah. Yeah, everyone says, oh, yeah, I was in that. It's like literally a million people. Building held 14,000 people. Okay, and then we've got a new segment, Toolsy. I'm very excited about this. This is all from the brain of Ben Teller. It's Herd Turds.
Imagine looking into that brain.
Oh, it's big, right?
Big brain.
Check out the big brain on Ben and the balls. And the big balls. Big balls, big brain.
And remember when Bisping said you have bigger balls than Luke Rockhold?
Yeah. That was good. He was asked about that at the news conference today.
About your balls?
No, about his balls comment.
Just saw you on Fox Sports Live last night, Michael Bisping. Quick question. Confirming Dan's balls. Large? Meaty? Meaty
to
balls?
gauge the size of my balls, he looked at my hands. You can't judge that.
But he must have a way. He must know.
He's a ball soothsayer?
Jim's got big hands. And that means Jim's got
I got big balls.
Yeah. Huge testes.
Yeah.
So what have you come up with, Ben?
Okay, so listening this morning
to Colin Cowherd's show.
I can cover a Coke can with my balls.
just like a cozy.
Yeah.
Like a Coke can cozy.
This band I did, Dad's Porno Mag, that was their tour laminate. The drummer's ball sack draped over a can of Coke.
That's nice.
You could just see the corner of the can.
That's nice. That's a nice like
sack.
trick you could play on somebody. Just have several cans of Coke, but then have your ball sack draped over one.
Is that the most unique tour pass you saw?
This was the best one I've ever seen. It was brilliant. Yeah, and everybody would go, "What the f-? Looking at it, and then they'd realize that's someone's ball sack.
Have you kept all those?
I got them someplace.
You need to bring those in one day. We just need to sift through those.
That would be very cool.
And get a story from each one.
Yeah, I can bring in some.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
Cool. Maybe bring in like 3 or 4 of your faves, like your all-time favorites.
I got some good ones.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So I'll do that.
Okay, so just for the Canadian listeners again, Colin Cowherd, huge American radio star, now works at FS1, and his show is simulcast on FS1. He's hilarious.
Yeah, so he was talking about LeBron.
He was on the podcast.
He was on the podcast,
Right.
He was comparing LeBron and Steph, and he started making some things like you can't, like LeBron's the only one, so you couldn't compare. Apple's not competing with anybody. So he started listing a bunch of companies, and he said this, and I thought,
Starbucks doesn't have a rival. Dunkin' Donuts? Really? Tim Hortons? Starbucks has 23,000 locations. At this point, they're competing annually on a year-to-year basis against their own earnings.
So I was thinking, Tim Hortons, competitor with Starbucks, or no? I have never heard of Tim Hortons.
In Canada, yes, but kind of a
completely different
market. Well, Tim Hortons and Dunkin' Donuts are in the same wheelhouse. Like, the coffee's less expensive, period.
Yeah.
Like, it's just cheaper coffee. Starbucks is just more expensive. So if you want to treat yourself, maybe you're going to Starbucks. But.
So
they're the higher end.
Yeah.
In Canada, do people love Tim Hortons more than Starbucks?
Yes.
I think generally, yeah, that would be. But I think if you're a Starbucks person, you're probably not a Tim Hortons person.
Where I last lived in Canada, just based on this alone, Tim Hortons
is Oshawa.
Tim Hortons lineup for the drive-through, 20 cars at all times.
Yeah.
Starbucks, 1 or 2.
That's like In-N-Out out here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Always a huge line.
Yeah.
But who's In-N-Out's rival? Is In-N-Out the high-end?
No, definitely not.
They're great price points.
They're actually very reasonable. I mean, I'd say like this Shake Shack has come to LA now. Like they're probably In-N-Out's competitor.
And like Five Guys in the Midwest.
Yeah, Five Guys.
Five Guys has arrived in Canada.
Yeah. And what's Fat Burger? Is Fat Burger good?
Not so much anymore.
Garbage?
Yeah.
No.
Never had it.
It's over.
Oh.
And Carl's Jr., only producer Tim eats that.
It's good, though.
Producer Tim said he loves Tim Hortons, and it's like so popular in Canada that no one even cares about Starbucks there compared to Hortons.
I don't know about that. No, people love Starbucks in Canada. Like lots of people like Starbucks.
Again, anything that producer Tim says, you should just say,
Yeah, producer Tim's full of beans.
When I first moved to L.A., I had a friend tell me, you got to go to Fat Burger. This is, way back. Got to go to Fat Burger. That's the place to go. So we go to Fat Burger up on Sunset. And he's like, man, isn't this the greatest burger? We're sitting there eating a burger. And the guy's got these fancy cowboy boots on. Friggin' rat runs right up his cowboy boot. Right up his leg.
No.
It's like, holy shit. Was sitting at the table, flings the rat off his leg. I'm like, I ain't finishing my burger, dude. I'm out of here.
That's like
tried to go for his nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Rat going for my nuts.
I rewatched the remake of Vacation, and they ask a gentleman for directions, and he's got a rat on his shoulder. They're I like your rat. He's like, what? He's climbing on his
Wasn't
shoulder.
that Charlie Day?
No, Charlie Day was the
whitewater
rafting
guy.
instructor.
Who is the guy he asked for directions?
I don't know that guy. He was just a rando.
Now, we have another segment involving another, former FS1 employee, Mike Francesa, who was a big supporter of us when we first came down here and continues to mentor us each and every day. And Mike had some things to say about you probably heard about the gorilla incident, the kid who got into the gorilla pen at the zoo and had to be put down. This is Mike. Oh, Dan has some things to say about it before we get to Mike. Oh, wait, why don't we get to Mike?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Could you imagine if that was your child in there? You're going to have people who are going to say, wait a second, I'm worried about the gorilla? When your kid's in there, basically maybe seconds from having his head crushed. We live in a world now where you are going to be more concerned with the gorilla than you are the little boy. What's wrong with you people? They're thinking about him. He fell into an area where he's in there with a gorilla who is dragging him around the habitat, and you're telling me you're worried about the gorilla's welfare? What is wrong with you?
Oh, Mike.
That kid would have had a great, what did you do this past week at
what
school?
did you do this summer vacation?
But the kid's fine.
Yeah.
But again, anytime, everyone's had this discussion about the gorilla incident. They put the gorilla down. They couldn't tranquilize it because it could take 20 minutes for it to get tranquilized. How the does the kid get in there?
I don't know, but you still have to kill the gorilla.
I know, but you're not allowed to question the parents? Sorry, my kid will never climb into a gorilla. A gorilla habitat, ever.
But what if you happen to turn for 1 second and little Ruby O'Toole is just like, woo, just jumps in, and you're like,
well, she would take down that gorilla.
Yeah, she might. Yeah.
And then Jane Goodall came out and she said the gorilla was trying to comfort the child.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The gorilla probably was trying to do that, but, I mean, we don't know.
Then he wanted to just play around for a bit.
Yeah, slap the kid a bit.
My brother Sean sent me a text this morning regarding that, and it was just a picture. And it was a picture of Bill Cosby, and it said, I could have tranquilized that
gorilla. Too soon. Yeah. Too soon.
If they're going to shoot the gorilla, why not tranquilize the parent?
Hey, now, are we going to get to Paige, or what are we doing?
Yeah, we'll put Paige in right
here. Hey, let's welcome our guest to the podcast.
Here she comes, Paige VanZant.
You're listening to the Jay and Dan Podcast.
So here we are. Paige VanZant joins us here on the Jay and Dan Podcast. Paige, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're easily the best dressed person in the history of the Jay and Dan Podcast. Like, I can't even think.
That's good to know.
100%.
That's good to know.
No question about it. Do you enjoy getting dressed up and doing interviews?
I do. I mean, especially being in the fight world, I don't get to do it very often. So I take every opportunity I can. Mm-hmm. And being on Dancing with the Stars, it was like a great little new world for me where I got to be dressed up and cute every day.
Yeah, a lot of like bedazzled outfits and such.
Yes, I think one of my costumes had like 15,000 jewels on it,
wow.
Which is absolutely insane to me because I think prior to that I had never worn a jewel.
Right, right.
It was very fun.
So take us through that whole experience. First of all, when they first approached you, your reaction was?
First reaction was, heck yeah. I was so excited right into it. Yeah, because it's something where I did have a dance background. I danced all the way up until middle school, so it was getting me back to my roots. It's something I haven't done in such a long time, but I was still passionate about. I was very excited when I got the phone call and they offered it to my management team. Went down, had a meeting with them, and then a few months later I found out I was on the show and they flew me straight to LA.
Amazing. And your dancing experience before you got the call?
Before I got the call, I danced all the way up until middle school. My parents owned a dance studio that they sold when I was 2 years old.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, my mom's been a dance teacher her entire life, but I kind of went a different direction when I got into high school. I didn't want to, do the same thing as my mom. I was trying to, make my own path, and then I went into college by the time I was 16 and kind of focused on that, and that's when I found MMA.
Amazing. And who did you get along with in terms of the other celebrities on the show? Who did you like? And you can feel free to tell us who you didn't like. It's all between us, Paige. No
one else is listening.
No one else will know.
My favorite people, gosh, I mean, the ones that, it was really fortunate. There was a few of us that never traveled. So it was like me, Wanye was someone I feel like I got really close to. He was amazing. And then being around like Doug Flutie, who is a legend, and I feel like we had so much in common because we were both kind of out of our element and we could relate in that area.
Right.
We definitely had a few things we were uncomfortable with and like shared that uncomfortableness. But I don't know, everyone was great. Ginger was a sweetheart, and then at the end I got a little closer to Niall because it was the final 3. He was amazing. Kim Fields was a sweetheart. Everyone was very great.
How was Flutie in the dancing game?
Flutie is very athletic for his age. Oh my gosh. I mean, I was like, a whole football player, he can probably still throw a football, but no, he can still sprint. He can still dance. There was one routine where he like had to sprint across the dance floor and then jump on the stage. And I was like, that's amazing.
Now, you mentioned Niall and you got close to him toward the end. You end up losing to him. When you got toward the end there, how much did you really want to win this thing, or was it still just kind of for fun for you?
I mean, of course I still wanted to win it. I mean, I'm an athlete, I'm a competitor, I hate to lose, but at the same time, after I saw his first routine, I was like, he's taking it home. Like, I knew I was going to do absolutely everything I could in my power to win the show, but at the same time, I don't mind losing to somebody like him because he's still an inspiration. He's still doing things that nobody's ever done before. And he's an amazing person. He did amazing on the show. Did
it ever piss you off in some episodes if you got beaten in a routine and you said, they beat me, but I could beat the shit out of them?
I had a few of those moments where I was like, yeah, but I can beat you up.
So recognition factor post Dancing with the Stars, has it gone up even more? Because you're already very recognizable.
Yeah, it has. I mean, outside of the fight world, I didn't feel like I had the biggest fan base because I've only been exposed to MMA and the UFC as far as a fan base. And now being on Dancing with the Stars, it's been really neat to actually have a lot more women know who I am. Right. I mean, the UFC, there definitely is a lot of women fans, but the majority is men. I think I was looking on my Facebook, and my biggest fan base is men ages 25 to 40. And that's like...
Just like us, Paige.
88%. 88 of my fan base is made up of that. So it was nice that I actually get exposed to a new group of people that I relate to as well.
Did it make it easier going to work? Because when you're training for a fight, you're sparring, you're getting punched. Is it easier going to work knowing you aren't going to get punched or kicked?
No, I feel like I put the same amount of pressure on myself for both, just because I want to do the best that I can and I like to win.
Yeah, you said
winning drives you. It's a huge motivation. But at the same time, you're not getting punched and kicked at all.
Right.
If I knew I was going to get punched or kicked coming to work, I would never show up.
No, so. You're figuratively getting punched and kicked. Often, like your ideas are getting shot down.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. By our
producer. I feel like that can hurt too, though.
Yeah, that hurts his feelings a little bit. The training itself, I watched the show with my mom. Mm-hmm. And
my mom.
Yeah, with my mom. And I'm amazed. I'm just amazed the amount of work you guys have to put into it.
Oh my gosh.
It kind of blows my mind.
People don't realize. I didn't realize how much work it is. I was like, I'm going to go in, I'm going to learn a dance routine, I'm going to perform.
Right.
So for the first half of the season, I was still training. I was full-time training MMA, saying like, hey, I'm going to be on UFC 200, getting ready for a fight. And then slowly I was like, no, I'm breaking down, I'm wearing down. So then I had to cut training out a little bit and really focus on Dancing with the Stars because that was the most prevalent in my life at the moment. And it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, but it was definitely a great experience.
How many phone calls have you got from fellow UFC fighters where they said, "Get me on that show. I want to be on that."
I actually haven't, but I know that there's a lot of UFC fighters that would be amazing on the show.
So who?
Yeah, who do you like?
I would say, obviously, I want to name my teammates, but Uriah Faber, his personality is amazing. He would.
California kid.
I'll be completely honest. I've seen him dance, and it's not pretty.
Not good.
It's not pretty, but his personality would be great. And then the other one, Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
He's got the personality for TV. He's got the personality for a show like that.
Plus, unlike Uriah, Conor would wear shoes, right?
That's true.
And so Uriah...
he would be willing to dance in something other than flip-flops.
Right, exactly.
Would Conor show up, though?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. That's a very good question. Now, you're going to be at the fight this weekend, I assume?
Yeah, I'm going to support Uriah.
And obviously, you're going to support Uriah. Just overall, your thoughts on 199 and what's coming up?
It's a great card. As far as fight cards, I feel like this one has almost a better lineup than UFC 200. Just me being a fan.
Right.
It's got a lot of great fighters on it, so I'm excited. Luke is going to be a great fight. It's a change up an opponent, but it'll still be a great fight. And then I'm going for Uriah.
When you're sitting watching an event, you're in the building, and you know the feeling that the fighters are getting as they're walking towards the octagon. Are you jealous that they get to feel that right there, and the adrenaline's pumping, and you're like, oh, I want to be walking
I do, especially being out of it for so long. I was on Dancing with the Stars for 3 months, and it was a long 3 months. So it's going to fights like this. I was able to go to UFC 197 as well, and I just miss it, and it makes you itch, and it makes you. I mean, I feel like you get addicted to violence. I love
That's a good
punching
tagline
people.
for the UFC,
I'm addicted to violence.
Yeah.
After a fight, because again, the adrenaline must be going. How long does it take to get to sleep? You must not sleep at all that night.
No, I mean, of course, the exhaustion from the full fight camp hits you. But at the same time, you're either riding a high from winning or you're at your lowest from losing.
Right.
And both of those keep you up at night.
Yeah. When are you going to fight again? When are we going to see you?
Who knows? We're definitely already talking with the UFC. They've been in contact throughout all of Dancing with the Stars. They've been very supportive. So stay tuned. We're in the talking process right now.
But you mentioned like 200. I think for a lot of people, 200 it's a good card, but maybe
I
you
wanted
would add
UFC
a little
200.
more.
I wanted it so bad. I wanted it very bad, but I had to be honest with myself that I haven't been training enough to take UFC 200. That was one I wanted so badly, but unfortunately I had to make that decision for myself and tell people I wasn't going to be prepared for that. And now I'm just getting back, and I want to be 100% focused on a fight before I take another one.
Okay, and when's the next time you go dancing?
Next time, I think I'm done dancing for a little while.
That's it for a while.
I'm taking a little bit of a break from that. My feet hurt from dancing in heels. So, I don't know. Next time I am in the club, maybe I'll have a few moves to show everyone.
Fair enough. That sounds pretty good. Paige, thanks so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. And now's the awkward time where we just say goodbye, but sit here in the same spot.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Jay and Dan podcast.
Paige VanZant.
Boy, she was so nice, sweet, beautiful, stunning.
And Engineer Jim, our award-winning engineer, revealed to us while we were discussing things, you worked on Gorillas in the Mist?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I worked on that movie, the score for it, yeah.
Wow.
With Maurice Jarre. Yes.
Diane Fossey in the room. No,
yeah.
she's dead. She got killed.
Yeah, she wasn't there. Yeah. Gorillas in the Mist.
So when you're scoring it,
and when we were working on it, we used to call it Gorillas Be Pissed.
So when you're scoring a movie, you're watching the film.
Yeah.
You're just trying to line everything up.
Yeah, it's a great experience. I mean, obviously, Maurice composed the music, so, he spotted all the stuff with the director. And then by the time, it comes to us, we're on a big stage.
Yep.
Like the size of like an airplane hangar. Huge. 80-piece orchestra, the big screen there, and as the
that's so cool.
Oh, it's awesome. The lights dim,
and is
the
the director
starts playing.
Is the director sitting in there saying, "Okay, this sounds good," or no, try something different?
He is. He's sitting at the board doing it. Yeah, it was a great experience, and for that score, we had like all these log drums and stuff. Really cool stuff, like huge logs, 8-10 feet long, hollowed out, and they would cut like pieces of the log, so the log it'd be like hollowed, and then there'd be like this piece of wood that they would cut almost like louvers into, and the guys would hit them with mallets, and of course, the things would just be like these low doom kind of sound. It was great. It was great. All sorts of interesting percussion instruments.
We need to sit in on one of those.
You've done a few movies, correct? Like we talked about Star Trek?
Yeah, I did Star Trek 4, Fatal Attraction.
Crazy.
Cocktail.
Classic
Heat.
Cruise. Heat?
Yeah.
Wow.
Grumpier Old Men.
Oh, one of the classics.
A lot of movies.
Grumpier Old Men. If that is on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, you have to stop at that.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I laugh at those guys.
We've got a minute before we get to Schrager. Very quickly, I'm going to start to get through these emails you've sent us. We'll get through a few, and then we'll go to Schrager. Very quickly, this one from Jordan.
Harlem Nights. Sorry.
Harlem Nights with Eddie and Richard?
Yeah. It was cool. And Herbie Hancock.
Did he do the score for that?
Yeah, he did the score.
No
it was
way.
great. We did all those jazz bands, all that period music. Oh, it was amazing.
So Herbie, what was he like?
Great.
Yeah.
He was just the best.
Man,
Yeah.
he's had an amazing career.
Yeah.
Okay, very quickly. You'll like
Sorry,
just like this.
man.
From Jordan, KFC and the Brass Rail. Sup, bods. Two things. My great-grandmother ran into the Colonel at the grand opening of the Paris, Ontario KFC. As he was coming out of the ladies' washroom or restroom, she said, "Hey, that's for women." He replied, "Oh yeah? So is this," and grabbed his crotch. Classic Colonel. I don't think that story really happened.
No chance that happened.
I don't think he did that.
At the grand opening of a restaurant of his, he does this.
And then he says, also, you guys need to mention that fiver divers are strongly frowned upon at the Brass Rail. The music was shut off and the DJ screamed, "We don't do that here," as I climbed up to the stage, which is 5 feet high.
What are fiver divers?
I don't know. I guess you go up to the 5-foot stage and dive off? I've never heard of that term, fiver divers.
So he was
that'd
wanting
be a
to
good name for a
stage dive.
band. Yeah, a good name for a band. That's from Jordan. So Jordan, I think you're full of but we really appreciate you listening.
By the way, this podcast is brought to you by Casper. It's an obsessively engineered mattress at a shockingly fair price. An in-house team of engineers spent thousands of hours developing the Casper. It combines springy latex and supportive memory foam to create an award-winning sleep surface with just the right sink, just the right bounce. I needed that with the Jimmy legs last night. Plus, its breathable design sleeps cool to help you regulate your temperature through the night. Time magazine named it one of the best innovations of 2015. In fact, it's now the most awarded mattress of the decade. Other mattresses can cost well over $1,500, but Casper mattresses cost just $500 for a twin, $750 for a full, $850 for a queen, $950 for a king. Try Casper for 100 nights risk-free in your own home. If you don't love it, they'll pick it up, refund you everything. This is the best part. They offer free shipping and returns to the U.S. and Canada. And they're made in America. You get $50 towards any mattress purchase by visiting Casper.com/JD. The letter J, the letter D. And using code JD at checkout. So Casper.com/JD. You can finally have a good night's sleep.
I love it.
That's a good slogan.
I'll say this. That was a good promo read, but I kind of might
T-Mobile,
have to
you got this.
It pales in comparison to young Peter Schrager's Dr. Carver shave butter read that he does every week on the Peter Schrager podcast. Man, he kills that, Schrags. You kill that.
I kill it. What's up, boys? How we doing?
The acting, saw you in a sketch on the Garbage Times last night. It was about something about being a football addict. You are a very underrated comic actor, Peter Schrager. Just you.
Yes.
The lines
3
you
years,
delivered.
3 years at Second City in Chicago, 2 years at UCB in New York.
Juilliard
for a couple of years. I did the whole SNL thing. I was on Mad TV, and now I kind of just jump in when they need me.
You're really, really good. This is very exciting. This week you have a podcast about the CFL. It's coming out Friday. Tell us about this, Shregs, and tell us why you decided to do it.
It generated from this very podcast with you guys. Last week, we were joking around. You said you should have this guy on to talk about CFL because there's no NFL going on. And I got in touch with this Gary Lawless. His schedule did not work out. So today you passed along a young man, Marshall Ferguson from TSN. He's the beat reporter for the Hamilton Ticast, which I guess is short for the Tiger Cast.
He's the play-by-play guy for the radio side.
Guy.
Yes.
Whatever it is. I picture all you Canadian journalists who do like 7 things. You hold the microphone, you hold the camera.
You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah. So I had him on, and we literally did a 30-minute 101 crash course. How many teams in the league? The answer's 9. How many divisions? The answer's 2. 5 are in one, 4 is in the other. There's a football field, but it's 110 yards, I believe. There's 3 downs, and, well, that's really about all I need to know.
That's it. That's all you need to know about the CFL right there. And I told you, I was shocked I just discovered Vernon Adams, is Oregon Ducks quarterback. Was at Eastern Washington, then went to Oregon last year. He's with the Alouettes now. Shrakes, I'm telling you, that guy's going to be a star up there. Perfect style of game for that league.
Yeah, he was drafted by the BC Lions.
That's it. Yep.
They traded him for a first-round pick, the rights to him, so now he goes to Montreal. According to Marshall Ferguson, who, guys, is a heck of a kid. I like this guy. He's 25 years old. He was great.
Hard
worker. He was telling me that Montreal's quarterback situation is an absolute mess right now. There's about 7 guys who can play it. So Vernon Adams might win that job.
God, that would be great.
Peter Schrager, your view of the CFL, has it changed? Do you want to know more about the league? Do you want to watch some games this year?
Yeah, I'm jumping on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I liked what they did this offseason. They spent a lot of money in free agency. They went for it. They're going for it, Dan. So I like it. Now, it is kind of quaint, kind of cute, kind of like you Canadian guys. It's like sweet and everyone's nice and all the teams are going to get a sportsmanship trophy at the end. One of the lines that I said to Marshall, and you guys tell me, I watched enough Raptors playoff games. I said, I think there's like 4 major sports in Canada. You've got your hockey, you've got your Blue Jays baseball, you've got the NHL, and then the 4th sport is being a schmuck standing outside that stupid stadium watching on the big screen like an idiot all day long.
In Jurassic Park.
That's it. I don't think these Raptor fans actually go in the arena. They just sit outside and scream at a big board outside in freezing cold weather. That's all I saw.
Hey, they want to be part of the experience.
Come on.
That's all they showed on ESPN were these maniacs, thousands of them standing outside the stadium while their team's losing by 20. It was amazing.
Yeah, and like that all happened they meant to do that Maple Leaf Square, but the concept of everyone gathering there and watching the game outside like that almost like happened by accident. It's actually kind of a cool thing, I think.
It felt like a music festival.
Yeah, that's what we want. I mean, Shregs, when the Bills did those annual games in Toronto, the atmosphere was so dead because you can't tailgate in Canada. Everyone was too sober in that building. Plus, no one really
and
liked
no
the
one's
Bills.
a hardcore Bills fan.
Yeah.
So you had people cheering for the Bills, you had people cheering for the opposing team. It was not good. It was not a good environment.
Bad atmosphere. Whereas the Raptor games, everyone's on board. I mean, you brought right. It's the same with the Jays. I mean, everyone cheers for the Jays because that's Canada's lone baseball team. But at the CFL, to be honest, I worry about it a little bit. Why? Because the young generation, unless you're in Saskatchewan, unless you're in some of the strongholds of the league, Saskatchewan, Edmonton, Calgary, like Toronto, for example, the younger generation, they're not watching the CFL like the older generation, like my generation did.
I'll tell you something. I'll give you something from the NFL here, Dave. Quarterbacks matter. And when I asked young Marshall Ferguson, who are the best quarterbacks, he started naming all these American college quarterbacks. I said, okay, who are the Canadian quarterbacks? And he said that's not really a position where they have Canadians play it in the CFL. Well, that's a problem because if every hockey player in America was Russian, you're still going to want to root for an American if he gets in there.
No, it's not. I mean, I understand why you would think that, but that's not really the case because they've never been Canadian. The quarterbacks have never been Canadian unless you go back to who's Ottawa's legendary?
Anthony Calvillo.
Yeah, Calvillo from California. No, they've never been Canadian, so it doesn't. Russ Jackson, that's the guy I was trying to think of. The quarterbacks are never Canadian. That doesn't matter. I think it's more. It's just got to be exciting. That's why I'm excited about Vern Adams because I just think a player like that is so perfect for that league.
Pete, here's the problem. Here's the problem the CFL has. Jay mentioned the younger fan base is not interested. It's because of Canada's inferiority complex. We worked in the TSN newsroom, and we had people saying, "Nah, I don't watch CFL. I only watch NFL."
Yeah,
they frowned upon a league that was played in their own country because it wasn't cool.
Right. Yeah, that's it.
Well, that would bother me.
Yeah, no, I found it annoying because it was it's too serious. First of all, don't compare the two leagues.
No, you can't.
You can. And then just enjoy the CFL for what it is. Go to the games, get loaded, and have fun with your buddies. And that's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to be like, I can't believe I'm spending my time watching this. It's great. They're athletes. They're out there working hard for $52,000 a year. Go and cheer them on and get loaded.
I have a question for you. Are there fantasy leagues for the CFL? I'll play in one. I'll dabble in that.
Yeah, there
TSN.ca runs one.
Yeah, TSN.ca.
I'll dip my toes in that.
Be careful what you wish for, because if people don't like the CFL and it went away, they would say, man, I wish I'd embraced it a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
Well, look, this is the Montreal Expos. No one showed up to the games, and then they go to Washington, and now all of a sudden it's some nostalgic, cool thing. Well, you guys didn't go to the games. What do you want?
You actually bring up a good point there, though. That stadium was sort of in bad shape toward the end.
So, Shregs, this is your downtime. You've got the CFL podcast out of the way. What you're going on vacation? You're coming out to see us?
Right now, I'm in the Hamptons. How about that?
What? What are you? You're with Barefoot Contessa?
Yeah, I'm with the Countess Luann from Real Housewives.
What are you doing?
I'm with Bethany Frankel drinking some skinny teenies.
There is money, and then there's Hamptons money. It's a whole other world.
Yeah, I've got it, baby.
Nice.
No, we're renting a house for the weekend. A bunch of my college friends and I don't have kids. They all have kids, so it's going to be an interesting mix. But let's just say we've got a house full of beer, booze, and we're ready to go.
Oh, Shrags, you're in for trouble because Jay and I can both attest. If you have kids and you get away for the weekend, it's a disaster. Those guys who have kids.
You go nuts.
Yes.
No, but wait, are the kids there in the house?
They are, but I plan on putting them all in a cage. No, at like 7 o'clock, I plan on putting them all in a cage and locking the door.
Yeah, perfect. Put them in a cage with a gorilla. See how that goes.
That's it. I love you, baby. What'd she yell? What'd the lady yell? She yelled something at her kid, like, goodbye.
It's been fun. You had a good run.
It's been a good run. It was a fun 4 years.
Peter
Schrager.
Schrager.
Laughing about that? Wait, where do you stand on that? Jay and Dan, I want
we already we played a Mike Francesa clip on it.
We actually played the Francesa clip where he's like, I can't believe that this is even being discussed. It's a human being and a gorilla, and I 100% agree with him.
Yeah, I agree. What's wrong with you people?
You're listening to the Jay and Dan podcast.
What Francesa said and what he's right is that rare breed of gorilla can squash a coconut by just touching it. So you've got a baby skull there. I want that gorilla dead.
Yeah, the gorilla has to die. Here, let's play Francesa one more time because Peter just loves him.
Could you imagine if that was your child in there? You're going to have people who are going to say, wait a second, I'm worried about the gorilla? When your kid's in there, basically maybe seconds from having his head crushed. We live in a world now where you are going to be more concerned with the gorilla than you are the little boy? What's wrong with you people? I'm thinking about me. He fell into an area where he's in there with a...
Best part about it. ORRILLER.
Yeah, exactly.
Gorilla.
God, that guy. I love him.
Schrager, enjoy the Hamptons, buddy, and we're going to send everyone to visit your podcast that comes out on Friday. Peter?
Pete?
Hey, Pete.
Okay, we lost it. Well, perfect time.
That worked out good. Yeah. Check out Peter Schrager podcast. The CFL one comes out Friday with Marshall Ferguson. So make sure you check that out and subscribe to the podcast. Pete he's been on an incredible run lately with some great execs, including last week he had Howie Roseman, the GM of the Philadelphia Eagles. Fascinating story. So yeah, if you love football, period, CFL or NFL, subscribe to Pete's podcast.
And he reads promos like a champ.
Oh, man, this Dr. Carver shave butter, the Dollar Shave Club. Because the guy who started Dollar Shave Club, he's brought it up. It's like his frat buddies.
Yeah, that's right.
So
and you can follow Peter on Twitter at PSchrags, PSchrags. We have time for our Punjabi radio call on the Benino goal. I haven't heard this yet.
Okay, sure.
I like it.
All right.
And that guy used to work in the TSN newsroom.
Yeah, Harnarayan Singh.
Really nice guy.
Amazingly nice guy. And now he's a big star for Hockey Night in Canada, so very proud of him. That was cool. Benino apparently loved it, too. They had a picture of the two guys in the booth with Benino and I think his wife.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, apparently he loved it. Very quickly, I just want to tear through a few of these. We got to tear through these tools, some of these emails. David Bassi. We miss you guys. Our sports coverage hasn't been the same. Jay, do you still have your Gina Retta mug? In fact, we have it on our set on the new show, Fox Sports Live with Jay and Dan.
I have my coffee in it every morning.
Cameron Foster. Since the Memorial Cup has been going on for a while now, I think it's over now, I was interested in knowing what junior hockey teams you guys supported the most. Which Canadian cities have the best chance to have a CHL team in the future? Wow, that's a tough one. First of all, you probably supported the Peterborough Petes.
Hell yeah, I supported the Petes.
I was, I didn't grow up near a town with a junior hockey team, but now my folks live in Kelowna, and so they have Kelowna Rockets season tickets, and I think I told everybody I embarrassed my parents when I was was being very loud and cheering the Rockets on last Christmas. So now I cheer for the Kelowna Rockets. Who else could get a junior team?
Timmins, Ontario.
Does Grand Prairie have a team?
Grand Prairie has a AJHL team, the Grand Prairie Storm.
Okay, but there's always been talk that they could get a dub team.
Fort McMurray was always in the mix too, but they would have to fly teams up there. That was the problem because of the travel. Fort McMurray was going to build a rink for a WHL team or an AHL. They were trying to get either.
But you have a team in Prince George, and then you have a team in Grand Prairie, and you have a team in Fort Mac. Like, couldn't you start to make that a road trip, kind of?
That dub road trip, though, they're road trips from hell when you compare them to the OHL road trips where they can, every road trip's maybe 1 or 2 hours.
It's true. Yeah, it's a nightmare. Okay, let's just rip a couple. Oh, one more here. This one, Toolsy. Scott Tyndall. Bill Burr is the subject. I was curious if you ever reached out to Bill Burr to get him on the podcast. I know you mentioned it briefly a while back when he was carving Jay about looking like Joe Friday, but haven't heard any mention of it since. I haven't emailed him because I know how much he hates people. Plus, I thought I could use my I'm from Peterborough card for a little extra pull with Dan to solicit a reply to my email. Oh, so he is from Peterborough. So, we haven't tried to get Bill on the show. We haven't.
He is friends with Schrager, but we don't like to take advantage of our friendships because Schrager's had him on his podcast, but maybe it'll fluidly happen at some point. We would love to have Bill Burr. He did hear about that clip, and he felt bad. He did. He went on Colin Cowherd's show, and he felt bad about saying that.
Yeah, he did.
He goes, oh, no, they saw that or heard it?
People are hearing things I'm saying? All right, great. I think that's the podcast.
We'd have to do 6 degrees of Engineer Jim.
Okay, let's do it. I don't see any of them on here.
I didn't put any this time.
Because we figured we probably wouldn't have any time for it. Do you have one off the top of your head, Toolsy, that you'd like to maybe ask away?
I asked it last week, my George Harrison, because I'm still deeply obsessed with that right now.
Okay, I have one.
Right.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you guys were talking about Duran.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
fun.
Right. Yeah, that's all right.
Picking up the pace.
Duran.
I have one, so the answer would be yes.
It's coming.
I actually worked on Andy Taylor's solo album, Thunder. Andy Taylor was the guitar player in Duran.
So, did he sing on the album? Was it instrumental?
Yeah. He wound up collaborating a lot, actually, with Rod Stewart, and wound up playing on Rod's album, which I also worked on, Out of Order.
Really?
Yeah.
You worked on that?
Yeah.
Dude.
Lost in You and all that.
That's a pretty big album.
Record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, so can we do Rod Stewart?
And it was hilarious because, like, I'll never forget, my wife, her sister came out to visit us, and they're in the front lobby of the studio, and I come out of the studio, and there's Rod sitting there with the two of them, and I'm like, oh, here we go, and he's like, oh, ladies, and of course, they're like, man, Rod Stewart. And I think they thought, my wife was like, you're out. Yeah. I'm getting laid tonight,
Rod the Mom. What was Rod like? Was he a good dude?
Yeah. Really funny guy. Great guy.
Rod,
just unbelievably talented.
He has a residency in Vegas. Duran, do they still tour?
Yeah, they do, actually. In fact, I think they
but
have
not
a record
Andy's
out.
Not in the band. I think it's Warren Cucurullo or something. The guy from Missing Persons.
Wow.
Has been a guitar player in Duran for a long time.
Wasn't Andy in Power Station? Weren't the Taylors in Power Station?
Yeah. And this was just after Power Station.
Gotcha.
This
was just a pretty cool record.
Yeah, it was awesome. Record. I mean, that's kind of how it kind of came about. Tony Thompson was working on it, and Then they got Tony Brock to play on it, and Bernard Edwards was producing some of it, and he came out and played, which Bernard Edwards, Tony Thompson, Andy Taylor, and, it was essentially Power Station.
What, like a guy like Andy Taylor, he's had success with Duran Duran. Is he humble? Is he nice? Is he kind of a dick? Is he... What's Andy Taylor like in the studio?
He was a rock star at that time. Yeah.
Good answer.
That's a great
very
answer.
political.
He's a rock star.
But he was all right to me, but he was definitely a rock star.
Fair enough. Yeah. Good answer, Jim.
He is our award-winning engineer, Engineer Jim. You can follow him on Twitter at Engineer Jim, Engineer_Jim.
Next week, I want to get more into Rod Stewart.
And speaking of next week, Fort McMurray will be represented. We're going to have Chris Phillips, recently retired Ottawa Senator Chris Phillips, on the podcast.
Very cool.
And speaking of Fort McMurray, our thoughts are still with everyone there. They're finally allowed back into the city a month later. They just started returning home yesterday. So hopefully while you get things back in order, you can listen to this podcast and it can take your mind off things. And look forward to Chris Phillips next week. So Paige VanZant, we thank him. We thank Peter Schrager. We thank Rich, who we finally has his Twitter handle. He was working the camera and he's oversees all the podcasts. Rich_Cook. Ben Teller was on the sounds at Ben Teller. As it sounds, it's exactly that way. Ben
Common spelling.
You're sure a cute kid.
There we go. I think that
was a great one.
We crammed a lot in.
Really good one.
And make sure you listen to the daily Fox Sports Live podcast.
Yes.
It's our TV show in audio form, but we have a lot of fun at the beginning. We do our own little podcast for that, and at the end.
Yeah, if you haven't listened to that one for a while, we take quite a bit of time at the beginning and a little time at the end and just sort of around like we do on this podcast. So if you're like, I like what's happening here, give that another go. If you tried it at first, you're like, I'm not sure if that was for me, give it another go, because it's definitely more us now.
Would you look at this?
My favorite one.
Excuse me.
All right, so have a great week. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.